What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Saturday, January 3rd, 2026, and we are here for the very first weekly recap of the year. Shout out to everybody that is here in the chat so far, or anyone else is going to come into the chat. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to go ahead and hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you are new. And if you are new to the channel, I'm glad that you are here. Hit the bell twice to be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live. And shout out to everybody, all the members, all the mods, everybody in the Discord, and everybody over there on Patreon. I'm glad that you all are here. So as you know, this is weekly recap. We got a couple of stories that we're going to go over today. It probably shouldn't take me that long to get through all of them, but we'll see. But let me go ahead and acknowledge the people that are here so far in the chat, or those who came in earlier, such as Dark Star So Far. Shout out to you. You became a member of the channel. I appreciate you. Shout out to you. Shout out to Joseph Washington, Hurricane Nisi, Trendy Time Travels, Reparations Nation, Bills Fan 1970, High Top Rob, Wallow J, Kingdom of Garvin, Firebat, J Lopez, D Money, Jesse Paris, Guillory, Desiree, Renz, Boilermaker, Dawani, and that is it so far in the chat. Shout out to each and every one of you. I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. Also, tomorrow there will be True Crime Sunday tomorrow. The official first True Crime Sunday of the year will be commencing tomorrow at the same time that I'm doing this live right now. I moved the lives up a little bit later because I felt like maybe 12 o'clock might have been too early for some people. So to try to garner as many more people as possible, I moved the lives up to 3 o'clock. Now, of course, if there's a Saturday or a Sunday that I'm not available to do any of those at that time, I'll just move it up to 12 so it doesn't mess up the time, or I'll just announce that I won't be able to do it that day. But shout out to everybody that is here so far in the chat, and also shout out to Jonathan, just popped into the chat as well. But let's go ahead now and not waste any more time and get into these stories. So the first one we're going to talk about is an unfortunate one, and what a way to end off the last year, and that is the passing of Isaiah Whitlock Jr. You know, the guy that's known on that wire for saying she, you know, the famous line that all of us know and love. He practically became a meme. You know, it was a heavily quoted line back then and still is to this day. But, you know, he also did other films and projects prior to that, but that role and that line is going to be something that he's always going to be remembered for. It's funny because I'm subscribed to some people that's on Patreon, and they did a reaction of the whole Wire series, and every time he came up and said that line, they would bust out laughing. His character was shady as hell, but the way he delivered his lines was funny to me. But definitely RIP to this man. They said he was 71 years old. That's still relatively young, you know, considering that there are people that have passed away who are way older than him. But yeah, what a way to end off the year. You know, he unfortunately wasn't able to make it into 2026. So definitely RIP to him. So let's move on now to the heavier, crazier stories. And let's start off with this one right here. And some of you may not even be familiar with this story. You might be familiar with a story similar to this, but not this one. 18-year-old accused of killing mother, injuring father in Greene County shooting apprehended in West Virginia. Miss Nisi, since you're still in the chat and you are in West Virginia, let me know if you heard about this story, because they said he got apprehended in your state. It says a man is in custody after Pennsylvania State Police say he shot both of his parents on Friday, killing his mother. Not yesterday's Friday, but the Friday before then. West Virginia State Police located the suspect, 18-year-old Jarrod Noll, after he crossed state lines from Pennsylvania into West Virginia on Saturday. Police say Noll was armed when he was apprehended. Pennsylvania State Police say their West Virginia counterparts took Noll into custody late Saturday afternoon after a caller said they spotted someone matching Noll's description. On foot, Noll had crossed the nearby state line into 100, West Virginia. I never heard of 100 West Virginia. Pennsylvania State Police troopers were originally called to a home along Garrison Ridge Road in New Freeport, Greene County just before 2 p.m. on Friday for reports of a shooting. Troopers found a woman suffering from a gunshot wound. She was transported by emergency medical personnel to J.W. Ruby Memorial Hospital in Morgantown, West Virginia, in critical condition, where she later died. A man who was also found to have sustained a gunshot wound, he was transported to J.W. Ruby Memorial Hospital for treatment and was later released in stable condition. Both victims were determined to be husband and wife, police said, with Noll, their son, suspected as the shooter. Officials said Noll's younger siblings were home when the shooting took place. However, the shooting itself occurred outside of the home. Those children are now in the custody of a family member. Following the reports, police said Noll fled on foot, prompting a widespread search. State police blocked off Garrison Ridge Road as they searched the forest surrounding the home. Poor cell service added to the challenge of searching for Noll. Police came up empty Friday night but kept looking into Saturday. It says we used tracking dogs, helicopters, and police on foot searching rough terrain. Says Pennsylvania State Police Sergeant Richard Sizer. Obviously, when you have someone on the run with a homicide warrant on the run with a gun, it is a huge danger to the community. Noll will be held in police custody in West Virginia before extradition to Pennsylvania. He has been charged with homicide and attempted homicide. The fire departments here have been great. The West Virginia State Police, Pennsylvania State Police, multiple barracks within Troop B have been outstanding, and their hard work has put this to an end. So there you have it right there in stories that you may not be aware of. Ms. Nisi says she only watches the news for the weather. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It is nothing wrong with watching the weather, watching the news only for the weather. Because when I was a kid, that's the only time I watched the weather, and more so when it was snowing. Because I had to know we was going to go to school or not that day, or if they was going to hit us with a 2-hour delay. Honestly, that's the only time I watched the news as a kid, was to see what the weather was like when it was snow. Jay Lopez said, I never heard of this one, but them folks have so many mass murder, family unalives, it's hard to keep up with. Exactly. It's a lot of them. And this is actually a story I was going to do as a video, but I couldn't find anywhere to squeeze this story in. So I said, let me go ahead and talk about it in this live. But like Rob Blacklight always says, familicide. I mean, you had what happened with Rob Reiner and his wife at the hands of their son like a week before this, and then you have this. And then, of course, you know about the story about the guy down there in Florida, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later on in this story. And actually, I think Professor Black Truth did his Friday crime report on that story yesterday. So there's this story right here. Let's move on to this one right here. So I just wanted to go over what happened, with Anthony Joshua. Like, this is wild. Imagine you just did the world a favor by relocating, or should I say dislocating, Jake Paul's jaw. And then a few days later, while you're having fun with your friends, hours later, you end up getting into a fatal car crash that takes out both of your friends and injures you. Like, this was absolutely insane. This is boxer Anthony Joshua injured in fatal car crash in Nigeria. And let me just say this too. What's his name? DJ Wackademics. He was dead wrong for putting that headline out there on social media, making it seem like Anthony Joshua was the one responsible for what happened, or something like some BS he put out there, and people corrected him about that. And they should have. If I was Anthony Joshua, I would have sued him for defamation. It's Anthony Joshua, the Nigerian British boxer and former heavyweight champion. It was involved in a car accident that killed 2 other passengers in Nigeria on Monday. The Lagos State Commissioner for Information, I can't pronounce this name, forgive me, confirmed the accident in a post on X, adding that the government has sent ambulances to the crash site. Local media reports said the boxer has been transferred to a hospital. According to a statement by the spokesperson for the Federal Road Safety Corps, preliminary investigations indicate the vehicle to be traveling beyond the legally prescribed speed limit on the corridor, lost control during an overtaking maneuver, and crashed into a stationary truck, which was sitting by the road. It says Anthony Joshua is in an undisclosed hospital being treated for his injuries. The commissioner for the police of the Ogun State said and told the AP, he said he has no further information on his injuries. So this is the story itself right here, but there was an update that came from this story like yesterday. So let me go ahead and share this right quick. Anthony Joshua's driver charged over the fatal car crash. So the driver, the person who was driving, got charged, and rightfully so, because I didn't know all the details. They said that this person was driving beyond the speed limit and hit a truck on the side of the road. Because I saw how that truck looked, and it's a miracle that Anthony Joshua survived that. It's unfortunate that his friends lost their lives, but it's a miracle he survived, because that truck looked like a crushed soda can. And as a matter of fact, you know how you like they put cars on those compacting machines when they crush them? That's what it looked like. It looked like that truck was about to go into the compacting machine, but they stopped it halfway through. It was very, very wrecked. It says authorities in Nigeria have charged the driver of former heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua with causing the car crash that killed two of his team members and injured the boxer. Adeniyi Coyote, age 46, was charged at the Sagamu Magistrate Court in Africa on Friday. The Ogun State Police Command wishes to inform the public that the driver of the Lexus SUV involved in the Anthony Joshua accident case was charged to the Sagamu Magistrate Court today. It says he faces 4 counts of driving causing death, reckless and negligent driving, and driving without due care, and intention causing bodily harm and damage to property, and driving without a valid national driver's license. It says Joshua was a passenger in the Lexus with Coyote, his personal trainer Latif, and Sina Gami, his strength coach, when the vehicle struck a stationary truck in Ogun State near Lagos, Africa's largest city. Well, I'm glad that they ended up charging the person for their involvement and not just letting it slide. Yeah, so that's the update that's coming from that. But prayers out to his friends, for losing, after losing their lives like that. And they literally showed video of them playing ping pong hours before this happened, literally the same day, like 7 hours before. It's just crazy. That just shows you how crazy life is and how fast it can hit you, no pun intended, in the blink of an eye. But let me move on now to the next story. And this one's involving Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry is back in the news again for allegedly the same thing what he was in the news the last time. Apparently, someone is out there saying that Tyler Perry has done something inappropriate with them. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't really believe this. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Something about this seems very shaky to me. But let's get into it. Tyler Perry is facing growing uncertainty as 2 sexual assault lawsuits place the entertainment mogul under intense legal and public scrutiny. Once celebrated as a symbol of Black ownership and success in Hollywood, Perry now finds his legacy challenged by allegations from actors who claim he abused his power. With his accuser's lawyer warning that more lawsuits could follow, the situation appears far from settled, raising serious questions about what comes next for one of Hollywood's most influential figures. Now, pay attention to just how the verbiage is used there. That means, I got a question in the chat. Do you think that Tyler Perry is guilty of whatever they're trying to go after him with, or do you think that this is a witch hunt? I mean, because we've seen this play out so many times before. It says Perry is now confronting 2 separate assault lawsuits, both accusing him of exploiting his influence in Hollywood to abuse aspiring male actors. The first lawsuit was filed in June, and the second lawsuit followed 6 months later, intensifying the legal pressure surrounding the media mogul. Unfortunately, the Hollywood icon, his legal troubles may be far from over. Recently, Jonathan Delshid, the attorney representing both accusers, made it clear that the situation could escalate further. Speaking to the Hollywood Reporter, he said there's now 2 of these lawsuits and there may be more coming. As the Blast reported, Tyler Perry was hit with his first major sexual assault lawsuit of the year earlier in June. Actor Derek Dixon, who worked on Tyler Perry's television series The Oval and Ruthless, filed a lawsuit alleging unwanted sexual advances, misconduct, and harassment while working on the set. In detail, Dixon claimed that the filmmaker offered him a 2-episode role in Ruthless after taking his number and promising to get in touch in 2019. The actor alleged that the following year he visited Perry's home in hopes of establishing a friendship that could lead to more acting roles. However, things allegedly did not go as planned. Derek Dixon recalled spending the night as he was too intoxicated. While asleep, Perry allegedly got into the actor's bed and made sexual advances at him, which Dixon claimed he rejected. The 35-year-old also recalled receiving sexual texts from Perry while filming The Oval. He says, according to reports, Dixon allegedly told Perry off quietly, even though he feared his career would be impacted. Following the filing of his $260 million lawsuit, Dixon appeared in his first televised interview in ABC News Live anchor with Lindsay Davis. The network dropped a teaser for the interview on Instagram, which sparked a ton of backlash from Perry fans. Many users slammed Dixon for trying to exploit Perry, calling his claims BS. One person wrote, "This man is lying." A second fan shared that they couldn't trust Dixon as his accusations sounded made up. A third fan commented, "I don't see Tyler Perry risking his empire on a sexual encounter unless he was sure all parties agreed. It's just too risky unless it didn't turn out the way that the man intended." A fourth user noted, "Boy, you sound like you lying. Stop it. And who is this lady interviewing him? Look like she's from 1986. People are ruthless on these social media streets. Is the legal challenges for Tyler Perry escalated dramatically on December 26, 2025, when a second lawsuit was filed by actor Mario Rodriguez, who appeared in a minor role in Boo: A Madea Halloween. Rodriguez alleged that the sister's star subjected him to unwanted sexual advances and alleged misconduct over the years, claiming interactions occurred between 2014 and 2019 and that those encounters took place under the guise of career opportunities. In his complaint filed in the Los Angeles County Superior Court, Rodriguez is seeking at least $77 million in damages for sexual assault, sexual battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and other harms. Notice that they're going after all of this money instead of actually going after the person that allegedly did this to him. So that's why many people are going to look at this like, okay, this sounds like a money grab. Nene said Tyler Perry isn't cranking out movie stars. Who can you think of that had a breakout career after working with Tyler Perry? I can only think of one. Danielle Deadwyler. She got started with Tyler Perry. And now she's been doing a lot of lead roles lately. But honestly, she's the only one that, as far as people who came in and weren't already established before working with him, I wouldn't say Taraji Wallow J, because Taraji had a career before she worked with Tyler Perry. She's talking about people who worked with Tyler Perry before they branched out and started doing other things. But Danielle Deadwyler is probably the only one that I could think of. Oh yeah, Lance Gross is probably another one, because he kind of got started with him too on House of Pain. I would have said Keke Palmer, but the first time I saw her was in Barbershop 2. But like I guess you could say those kind of came out around the same time. But like I said, all it is at the end of the day for me is it just seems like it's a big money grab. Like that's really all they're in for. When I'm looking at all these, like suing for $260 million. First off, let's be honest with ourselves here. If you was to sue someone for $260 million, that means you have to have undeniable proof that this is going to go the way you want it. And number two, even if you was to hypothetically win, you're not getting all of that money. Same thing with the other one, suing for $77 million. Like, that's crazy. So yeah, well, I guess I don't know if we'll keep, if this is one we'll keep up with or not, but they'll find a way to keep throwing it in our face, I suppose. Let's move on to one of the bigger stories that happened this week. Now, like I said, if y'all are following Professor Black Truth, which I assume many of you in here are, y'all have definitely heard about this story.
Now, News Channel 8 at 10 on the CW Tampa Bay, sponsored by Farah and Farah.
Good evening. I'm Paola Suro. Thanks for joining us for News Channel 8 on the CW Tampa Bay. 2 people are dead and a young girl is in the ICU after a murder-suicide in Polk County. Sheriff Grady Judd says the crime is so heinous, even his own homicide detectives were horrified. News Channel 8's Ryan Arbogast has reaction from law enforcement and from people who knew the victims.
Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd said it best. He calls this a crime that completely and utterly destroyed an entire family. Neighbors we spoke to here say they're shocked, they're appalled, and they're still at a loss for words on exactly how their street turned into a massive crime scene late last night. First comes the fire trucks, then the ambulance, then the cops.
And what I'm about to describe to you is even 10 times that worse.
A mother of 3, wife and friend, murdered in cold blood.
This is things that are never supposed to happen.
According to the Polk County Sheriff's Office, killed by the man she called her husband, 47-year-old Jason Kenney.
Crystal Kenney, the wife of Jason, is shot in the head and dead. But it gets worse.
Polk County deputies got a 911 call from Crystal's 12-year-old boy, running from this home along Lemon Avenue in Lakeland after a fight over TV channels got violent.
As he's leaving the house, he hears a gunshot.
Deputies arrived, finding Kenny's 1-year-old child unharmed and his 13-year-old stepdaughter inside bleeding out. Luckily, the young girl able to talk to law enforcement.
She said, I begged him, don't shoot me, don't shoot me, don't shoot me, and he shot me anyway.
Neighbors tell us the split family lived there for about a year.
They're good people, good neighbors. Couldn't ask for no better.
We found a note that at some time in the past, Crystal wrote, and it was open, where she told Jason, you know, you're drinking, you're using cocaine again.
Jason Kenney has no history of domestic abuse and no prior arrests. This picture isn't a mugshot because Kenney never made it to jail. He drove to Lake Wales and shot himself, taking his own life.
Quite frankly, I don't want to sound sinister, but the only thing he did right that night was shoot himself.
Sheriff Judd says there's one good thing, one Christmas miracle, as he put it. The 13-year-old girl that was shot multiple times is expected to be okay despite being in critical condition.
All right, so y'all heard this story right here. Now, they left one major part out of here, and I'm mad that they did, is allegedly it was over the wife asking him to turn the channel from an NFL game that he was watching. I forgot what they said that he was a fan of, what team he was a fan of, but apparently it's a winning team, like playoff bound winning team. And that's what set him off. But I don't believe that's what initially set him off, because I said whatever, like what made him do that, this was something that was getting to a boiling point. And this is what did it. This is what set him over the edge. But I don't believe this was the reason as to why this was. I mean, the fact that they said that he shot her in the head. When someone does a headshot like that, that is personal, because that means you want them gone. Oh, the 49ers? Okay. Yeah, that's what they're saying. They said it was like when she had asked him to turn the channel from the game because she wanted to watch something else, and then boom, he just up and just killed her. Now I got a question for all the usual suspects over there on Twitter, especially. Have they said a word about this? I'm willing to bet that they have not because they're too busy talking about us. But it's messed up either way. They also mentioned that they say that he used to practically go on these drug binges. So that means he used substances. He was a substance abuser. Exactly, man. Samusa over. I'm going to say allegedly the football game because I just really believe it was more than that. But you know what they say? Dead men don't talk. So the thing is, we'll never really know what really set him over the edge. Because like I said, I can't believe it was just over that football game. So now that he's gone, he can't say nothing. The only words that they're going to get something out of is the stepdaughter, because I believe they say he has a son that from a previous relationship, but he got away. Yeah, so that's crazy either way. And like Black Light always says, familicide, something that a lot of them don't like to talk about. Now, this story right here that I'm about to go over with you is actually two updates. This is actually, if y'all remember, when I did my weekly recap, it was the last weekly recap that I did right before I did my last Sound Off Saturday of the year. Was about that guy who went to that college campus, the KSU, and shot one of the students there. Well, there's an update that came from this, and apparently now he might have been justified in what he did. So let's go ahead and find out why they're saying he might be justified and why he did what he did.
With continuing coverage of the deadly shooting on the campus of Kentucky State University, Evansville law firm Danks & Danks will be defending Jacob Bard after police say he shot and killed a student earlier this month at KSU. Our Emma Beck joins us after speaking with his attorney. Emma?
Well, Rob, Jonathan Danks, one of Bard's attorneys, says Bard is innocent. He says Bard had to use necessary deadly force to save the life of his son. Evansville law firm Danks & Danks will be defending Jacob Bard after police say he shot and killed a student and injured others at Kentucky State University.
As an attorney, it's really difficult to see somebody like Jacob go through this when you feel very strongly that what they did was lawful, to know what kind of person they are. It's not easy for anybody in that situation. No matter if it's justified, what happened is tragic.
Bard's son attended KSU, and attorneys say Bard tried to alert school officials of the ongoing danger his son was in after receiving several threats from other students. On December 9th, after Bard's family decided to withdraw his son from the university, they were being escorted by police to his son's dorm to remove his stuff. When they arrived, Danks says 20 to 30 people began violently assaulting Bard and his family, and Bard's son was believed to be in imminent danger, so Bard pulled out his gun and fired at two people.
Absolutely, his actions were justified. He was acting in defense primarily of his son, but also of his wife and himself.
Attorneys say Bard's family has been the subject of credible death threats since the incident. They say Bard is a responsible parent, and they will continue to assert his innocence, that he acted in self-defense.
I'm sad on behalf of Jacob that he had to take that action. Nobody should be in that situation. I feel anger for him that he's being put through all of this, that he's had his character questioned, his motives questioned, and his actions questioned when he did what any parent would do for their kid in that situation.
Well, a grand jury is meeting tomorrow in Franklin County, Kentucky to consider indicting Bard for murder. Danks says if Bard is indicted, the firm will continue to defend him and assert his innocence.
All right, so there you have it right there. Now, that's an interesting turn of events right there that I didn't see coming. So remember, this guy drove all the way to KSU and an incident unfolded in which a person ended up losing their life, and then they got hauled off to jail, and that was the last time you heard about it. But then they said, oh, hold on, there might be some reasoning here for why he actually did what he did, and now we're going to prove that this was an act of self-defense and not just flat-out murder. Now, remember what I said about this? I had 2 updates with this story. Well, here's the second update to this story. Hold on, y'all.
KSU shooting victims has been arrested after a warrant was issued for his arrest. According to Indiana court records, Dejon Fox Sr. failed to appear in his issued court date on Friday and has now been denied bond. He's accused of threatening Jacob Baird, who was the shooter cleared by a grand jury. Chardonnay Cleveland did appear in court and entered a not guilty plea. Cleveland was ordered to have no contact with Jacob Baird or his family. Her next court appearance is set for January 20th.
So these are the parents right here of the person that was shot on the campus by Jacob Baird, and they are the ones that are now in custody. Man, this story got more twists and turns than a damn maze. Imagine that. And see, now the dad done made himself look bad because he didn't appear in court for his court date. And they had to issue an arrest warrant for him. So he just put himself in a very bad position. Now, the mother showed up. She was there. But he didn't. Yeah, he just made his situation worse for himself. It is what it is. I'm gonna try to see if I can stay up to date with this story because this is crazy. This is wild. That's the same thing I said, Church. It's a lot going on with this case. It's not as open and shut as we thought it was going to be. Now let's go on to the last story of the day. And this is a story that I actually added in like literally today, like at the very last minute. And that is Will Smith. So Will Smith is in the news again, and not for, a new movie coming out or anything like that. Apparently, like Tyler Perry, he too is being sued for sexual harassment and wrongful termination. Now, when I first learned about this, I immediately gave it the side eye. And when I started to read a little bit more into it, I said, okay, this story just sounds very fabricated. It says a former violinist and crew member for Will Smith is suing the actor and rapper as well as his touring company for wrongful termination and sexual harassment, claims Smith's lawyer is denying. Brian King Joseph, who toured with Smith in 2025, alleged in a complaint filed Tuesday in Los Angeles County Superior Court that he was wrongfully terminated and retaliated against after reporting workplace safety hazards. According to the complaint, Joseph said that he reported to Smith and the touring company that someone had, quote, unlawfully entered his Las Vegas hotel room during the tour and allegedly left a handwritten note among other items, including wipes, a beer bottle, a red backpack, a bottle of HIV medication bearing another person's name, an earring, and hospital discharge paperwork for someone Joseph did not know. The note allegedly read, Brian, I'll be back no later than 5:30, just us, and it has a picture of a heart drawn on it, and it says Stone F, according to the complaint. Joseph said he reported the matter to the hotel, a local non-emergency police line, and to Smith's representative, stating that he was afraid someone was going to return to his room and try to have sex with him. In the complaint, Joseph said a few days after notifying Smith's team, he was terminated from his role with the tour and accused of making up the matter, and another violinist was hired to replace him on the tour. Joseph also accused Smith in the complaint of allegedly deliberately grooming and priming him for further sexual exploitation, suggesting a pattern of predatory behavior. Is that Joseph said in the complaint that he experienced PTSD and mental illness because of the termination. Joseph is seeking a trial and compensatory damages, attorney's fees, and other relief as determined by a jury. I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm reading this right now, and I have a feeling that this would get laughed out of the courtroom. Alan Grodsky, an attorney for Smith, pushed back against Joseph's claims in a statement to ABC News Thursday. Mr. Joseph's allegations concerning my client are false, baseless, and reckless. They are categorically denied, and we will use all legal means available to address these claims and to ensure that the truth is brought to light. Smith went on a global tour last year to support his Based on a True Story album, which was released in March 2025. Smith's tour stopped in Vegas that same month. Based on a True Story was Smith's first full-length album in 2 decades. Y'all let me know in the chat. Do you think, are y'all buying this story? Because something about this just doesn't seem right to me. And someone said that they had saw like the written up document or something like that. I wish I had access to that, because they read it and said there's so many holes in this accuser's story. And Pam, I'm actually glad that you're here, because I know that this is your area of expertise. So I know you would know a little bit more about this than I would. But yeah, like someone said in the chat, this is the new grift. Just find someone, get close to them, and try to sue them. All right, y'all. Y'all know what time it is. Let me go ahead now and drop the link in the chat. If y'all would like to come up and speak to this topic, feel free to go right on ahead. Hold on, y'all. Wallow, what's going on, Wallow J?
What's going on, Torin? What's going on, everybody in the chat? The Anthony with Joshua story is a story that we can kind of, it's a, I ain't gonna say complicated, it's a light shedding story, because I was watching on Street Media TV, shout out to him, and he was showing the videos of how the Nigerians were, they was happy that he didn't die, but at the same time kind of pissed off that, you know, they didn't have no ambulances and all this other stuff, and because they were basically saying like if the situation was a whole lot worse, he could have had really died. So and people don't know, civilians was the one that pulled him out of the car. It wasn't, you know, health enforcement and stuff like that. So that situation, and it kind of shines a light on how bad that country is right now. Like they got the money, and a lot of Nigerians say they have the money, they just don't put it into the right spot. So I pray for his friends, family, because, you know, losing friends is hard after just, you know, hanging out with them. So I'll send my condolences to that. And also with, I would say the Hollywood situation in general, as everybody was saying in the chat, it ain't nothing but a money grab now. Like you just said, it's the new grift. Like you get close to somebody and then you just try to sue them because of what? Like, because you're too lazy to go get a real job. So it's like, and like Eddie Griffin said, no black man leaves Hollywood unscathed. And I'll land my plane there, Torian. B1.
B1. Shout out to Waller for coming up. Next up, we got Jonathan. What's going on?
What's up, Torian? What's up, chat? Happy New Year's, even though it's January 3rd. First off, I want to know how you kill somebody over a football game. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not sure if that reached the boiling point. I think he killed his wife over the football game because they crazy like that. They been so entitled and so privileged. They feel like they can kill people over any thing, no matter how stupid and dumb it is. And as for Tyler and Will Smith, I just feel bad for them because they're being used to be, someone's grip to get a bag. And when that court system finds out ain't none of this stuff happened, not only they should not only termination, but file a lawsuit for defamation of character. And as for DJ Crackademics, I hope he get his lawsuit handed to him as well because he wrong for what he did to Joshua. That man could have died, and you're gonna say he has something to do with it when his driver was the one. It's just an ignorant world we live in. So I'm gonna let my plane there and get back to my workout. D1, bro.
Shout out to Jonathan. You didn't get your wish, Wallow. To Pam, what's going on?
Hello, happy New Year to you, Torian, and everyone in
Year.
the chat. Listen, first off, I'm still reading, trying to find that lawsuit, and when I find it, I'm gonna do my little video on it because it just seems fantastical. But I'm gonna let that go. But what I'd say about the Anthony Joshua case in regards to what happened, I find it sad but eye-opening, particularly because you hear these African nations telling Black Americans, come over, we love you, this, that, and the third. You hear this, but then you got to question, are you safe when things like this happen? Because who do you call when you need to have help? And I thought that was very, very sad. And then it was like, how disrespectful to the two people, rest in peace, that passed away, because I saw some of those videos on Twitter, and it just made me sad, and then it also made me sick to see how no care was taken for what was going on. And even when the bystanders were taking him out, how no care was. I mean, you're in a car accident and they're hurt. And, people's just pulling in like, ooh, Anthony Joshua. And they're just pulling and tugging and like everybody wanted to touch him and stuff like that. But that just let my eyes open that even though you have these countries and they have beaches and beautiful settings and hotels and resorts and stuff like that, you really got to pay attention to their infrastructure.
Definitely.
What happens when you're in an accident? What happens when your house is on fire? What happens when there is an altercation? Can you call the police? So all those other things may be nice and people want you to go, but I think we have to be very clear when we go to these different places. You have to ask, what's the infrastructure? And that's all. But have a happy New Year, and I'm enjoying everything that you're doing.
Appreciate you coming up. Shout out to Pam for Pam Entertainment TV. If y'all have not subscribed to her channel, please be sure to go ahead and do that whenever you can. Church, you are up next. What's going on?
How you doing, Tori? And peace to you. Peace to the chat. Hope you're having a beautiful day, my brother. I want to start off with the Anthony Joshua situation because one of my neighbors is Nigerian, and we was talking about that situation. And apparently, I was asking him, I said, why wasn't there any paramedics? And I'm like, do you guys not have paramedics or what's going on? And he was like, no, we have paramedics. He said, but the location where Anthony got into the accident, he said that location in itself, he said that's like driving through Texas and going into a rural area. He's like, they were driving in an area where there was literally nothing. So from his point of view, is that it's like driving through Texas and they went to a rural area, and that's why the paramedics wasn't able to get to him as quickly as they should have, which kind of makes sense. But also the Will Smith thing, I'm very interested in that case. From my understanding, it's a very weak case, and hopefully Will don't do what most celebrities are convinced to do, which is settle. because that's going to put a black eye on him. He should just let this play out and let them prove their case. And in civil court, it doesn't take much. It's not like criminal court. They don't have to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt, but still, they still have to prove it to a substantial level. And a lot of the things that are quote unquote being claimed, it just seems like a grift. It seems like, like I said, it's the new grift. Find somebody who is incredibly successful and throw that title on them as a pervert. And the courts can't really deny it. They have to look into it. But I'll land there, family. No wallow, not today.
Appreciate you for coming up, Church. And to go on with people like Will Smith and like different celebrities, many of them have various lawyers that tackle different things. Like, you don't have that one size fits all lawyer. But the thing is, when it comes to being a lawyer and attorney, there isn't a one size fits all. Like, you have different attorneys for different things. You have money lawyers, you have tax lawyers, you have of course criminal lawyers, federal lawyers. Like, you have lawyers who are based in every type of thing. And I'm sure Will Smith has plenty of lawyers that cover all their bases, and that the one who's working with him with this one is the one he plucked and said, hey, we got this situation and I need you to handle it. All right, next up we got Denzimus. What's going on?
Oh, what's good, my guy? Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's. So I wanted to talk about something else real quick. It does have something to do with the Anthony Joshua situation, but it doesn't. I just find it funny that after this situation happened, the I Show Speed had that little situation where he went to the continent, and now you have all of these Africans, Caribbeans, or whoever tethers talking about how good Africa is. And while I don't disagree that the whole continent as a whole is, horrible or anything, situation like the Anthony Joshua situation opens my eyes to how they don't really have their weight up. And I just want us, if anybody goes over there, obviously we all know, just to be careful and everything. I just find that really funny how that happened. Like, they're trying to convince us to, go over there and do whatever on the continent, and they don't have their stuff together, as we saw with the Anthony situation. And then as far as Tyler Perry goes, I'm not gonna say whether or not these people are telling the truth or not, because I don't know. At the end of the day, I wasn't there with these situations. But all I'm gonna say is, if you get assaulted, people, you need to go to the cops immediately instead of doing all this other stuff behind the scenes, trying to blatantly money grab, because it's obvious at this point. Every time a celebrity is caught up like this, it's always for the money, which I guess, okay, to a certain extent, get your money, but with them type of situations, just file a police report as soon as possible. And that's it. Be one.
But look at what before you, because it's interesting that you brought that up. And right at the same time, Pam had looked this up. She says she found it. The attorney for the Tyler Perry cases is the same lawyer for this case as far as the Will Smith one. So they got the same. So basically, there's like another Gloria Allred.
Oh, okay. Isn't this the same person that sued Jay-Z too, or is that
No, that's Tony. You think of Tony Busby? That's somebody.
Okay.
Tony Busby is another ambulance chaser too.
Okay, because I hope I'm not running out of time, but yeah, I that's another thing. They need to start suing these lawyers too, because this clearly is so obvious that they're grifting as well.
Yeah.
Because I don't understand how they're able to get away with it, but whatever. Hollywood is just a shit show. I don't even really like to wrap my mind around. But that's it. Be one.
Yeah, shout out to Denzimus for coming up, and shout out to Pam for pulling that up. Because the thing is, I had heard that they were the same lawyers, but I couldn't find it. And that's what I was trying to look for to put it in here, but I couldn't find it if it was confirmed or not. But knowing that they got the same, Jonathan Delshad is the lawyer, so they got the same lawyer. Okay, now people going to look at this very suspiciously. Like, y'all got the same lawyer. Ironically, both people you're going after happen to both be black men. They both happen to be great in their craft. Is a lot of money involved, and y'all have the same attorney and the lining up is the same, like, okay, and almost around the same time. That's crazy. Buzzer, oh, right as soon as I was about to bring him up, he fell right off. I don't know what happened. But again, that's why I tell y'all, if y'all have not subscribed to Pam Entertainment TV, please do. Because see how quickly she found that? I wouldn't have found it. And like I said, I tried to find it, but I couldn't. And the crazy part about it is his name was mentioned in the article, but it wasn't mentioned in the Will Smith one. That's why I was trying to look up who the accuser's attorney was, but I couldn't find. They didn't say anything. Buzzercan, what's going on?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, happy New Year's to you. Today. Yeah. I have some questions. My opinion on this Josh. No, what happened to Joshua and his friend? I'm very sorry what that happened to him after a big moment in his life, like happened for the rest of us. And then I don't know, it's 2 days, but I feel like it's a week after that. Don't know. He got in this accident and lost two friends. That's very unfortunately. I hope the best for him and his friends, something like that, to get that together and stuff like that. And from from Nigerian places like that, I have a question why just not much amulet there in that place. I mean, I heard they had the problems. What's going on with some more over there? Of course, this have nothing to do with this, but Nicki Nas had to make some a press trying to own that point at that for take up reasons, obviously, but that's a whole nother thing. So, but I should be doing that. I didn't heard. Well, I'm not gonna explain that. And another thing, yeah, this Will Smith and Tyler Perry, yeah, it's another money grab, and it's so important. Half the story is built the bungalow and stuff like that. And of course, it's allegedly, so there's no proof of that, but half it is allegedly, but half the story, I do not believe it, stuff like that. This need to be drawn out some case, make case of mercy and stuff. And yeah, there is a money grab, and I would say that it must happen on the other side of a lot of people, so those are the other ones too. So that's all I have to say, and I'll talk to you another time, okay?
Appreciate you coming up. Emmanuel said, call the Men in Black. Division 6. Yeah, maybe they can help out with this. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, it's all, in my opinion, it's all a money grab. And by the way, not to I just had to put it out there. The person who is accusing Will Smith of whatever it is that they claim is in the academy. Like, I saw his picture and I said, I don't even have to question it. Not that that means much of anything, but I that's added context. Some of y'all probably saw his picture and was like, oh yeah. I think I know who this is. What's going on?
Hi, this is just me calling from hell just to let you know that guy in Florida, he was a great patriot because he kept the Second Amendment alive.
Wow. I didn't, I didn't even pick up on that when you said it, but yeah. Charlie would have loved him.
And guess what? He was qualified as well.
That's crazy.
Now I got to go back to hell.
Oh, well, before you go, speaking of Florida, you heard about what happened with Byron Donalds, right?
Oh, yes. Oh, we're going to have a lot. Are you available this week?
Let me see. Let me check.
Like Wednesday or Thursday?
I'm available on Thursday.
That's what happened to me on September 10th.
Wow. But yeah, that thing with Byron Donalds is crazy. Now you know that's something if somebody who is not black is calling you a tether.
Oh yeah. Oh, we
That
gotta.
means
No, I gotta. I gotta.
that means they
Go ahead.
listen. They listening. They are listening.
Yeah. There's a lot going on with that man.
Yeah.
Cause
But like I said, I should be available on Thursday.
oh wait.
What's all behind the scenes?
Yes, sir. But yeah, I gotta go back to hell. So all you patriots and everything, Amfest 2026. I don't know where it's gonna be yet. Probably somewhere where we could do pyro. But yeah, I'll see y'all later. Turn the gas up, please.
All right, shout out to KG for coming through. I was gonna ask them, did you come back to say hi to your widow and see all the ruckus that she's been kicking up in the dust she's been kicking up since she's been gone. But yeah, in case y'all don't know, this person, I don't know who it is, but he ain't black. But he referred to Byron Donalds as a tether and a slave. And that's probably what KG was talking about, like asking about my availability. But yeah, I'm telling you, I always told y'all the people who going to get their wake-up calls from these tap dancers ain't going to be from us because we didn't pedestalize them. We didn't pedestalize Byron Donalds. They did. And they're going to be the ones that pull him down. James Fishback is his name. Okay. Yeah, he called this man a tether and a slave. And when I heard that, I said, wait a minute. I'm telling you, they listen to us. Because when did they just start throwing out the word tether like that? We've been saying that for a while now, and he's just now saying that he referred to Byron Donalds as that. But I don't feel bad for Byron Donalds. I mean, this guy is literally anti-Black American. But 2026 is going to be a very interesting year. We are only on weekend number 1 of several to come. And guess what, KG? The midterms are slowly they're going to be slowly approaching. This is going to be the midterms is going to be a turning point indeed. But anyway, y'all, we about to go ahead and shut it down. That's going to bring this show to a close. The first weekly recap is now officially in the books. Shout out to everybody that came up. Shout out to Dark Stars so far for becoming a member of the channel. Again, tomorrow, there will be a video at 9 a.m. tomorrow. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. And also the True Crime Sunday topic is going to be tomorrow as well at 3. It's going to start at, of course, we did a pre-show at 2:40, and then we're going to do the live itself at 3 p.m. on Rumble. So make sure y'all are available for that. And with that being said, we are about to be up out of here. Y'all enjoy the rest of your Saturday. It is kind of chilly outside, so definitely make sure that if you do go out to stay warm, stay safe, but most importantly, be one.